ways. There we go. Okay. Oh, the party sky is here. Perfect. Ugh. Oh, crap. Oops.
See in front of it, behind it, even with the lights down low, I can see. I have no idea. It's just confusing to me. I don't believe he's magic.
It's an illusion.
And the tricks that all these magicians do where they pick randomly people who's like, name a river, name a number, what's your first dog's name? And then they open up an envelope and all that stuff on the piece of paper. How the hell does that happen? I've never understood how these tricks work.
Epson printers?
I think he's supposed to, but...
I don't know. I'm amazed by that stuff. It's entertaining, right?
That was very entertaining. Kids loved it. Lots of funny jokes. Too sexy. The jokes were inappropriate for a family show. Like, really inappropriate, I thought. I don't know if he's, like, getting too old to understand what a kid's show is supposed to be like, but too many sex jokes.
Filter.
Yeah. Wow. But I highly recommend it if you like magic and you want to see a really old man doing magic tricks. He is old, walking around real stiff.
Like Biden?
Yeah, walking around like Joe Biden, making cars appear.
Armstrong and Getty.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GA Won't Wait.
Talk Radio 560, KSFO San Francisco, KSAN HD2 San Mateo, a Cumulus media station.
Diplomatic rebuke for Israel. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The UK Foreign Ministry just summoning Israel's ambassador to the UK while condemning as appalling the killing of 7 aid workers in Gaza, including 3 British nationals, when an Israeli airstrike hit a World Central Kitchen aid convoy. Israel's military is investigating, and Prime Minister Netanyahu calls the incident unintended and tragic.
The victims of yesterday's strike join a record number of humanitarian workers who've been killed in this particular conflict.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken, during meetings in France, also defending U.S. security assistance for Israel, saying it's about a range of existing threats to Israel, not just Hamas and the October 7th attack. President Biden and China's President Xi just speaking for the first time since their November summit in California. Today's call focusing on security issues, artificial intelligence, and Taiwan, which China's leader calls a red line that can't be crossed in U.S.-China relations. President Biden reaffirming a long-standing one-China policy, while also reiterating U.S. opposition to any coercive means to bring Taiwan under Beijing's control. He also raised concerns about China's operations in the South China Sea and pressed China to do more to meet its commitments to help stem the flow of fentanyl. The former president hits the road.
Former President Trump is likely to spend a lot of time today talking about 2 major issues: illegal immigration and crime. 2 issues which could swing the election in battleground states, also known as the Blue Wall, states Democrats are counting on to win in November's election. Trump's first event today is going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's there he's expected to address the recent murder of Ruby Garcia, a woman found dead near a highway, allegedly at the hands of an illegal immigrant from Mexico.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Democrats launching a new billboard campaign in Michigan, blaming the former president for chaos at the border. Later today, he holds a rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin, a battleground state President Biden plans to visit next week. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text PROTECT 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold. Message and data rates.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
Why are people saying "Hew yeah" to Jackson Hewitt? When you switch to Jackson Hewitt, they will beat what you paid last year on tax prep, even if you filed online. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Jobs for someone with autism. Programmer. Teacher.
WIN by Autism Speaks helps businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
How about a healthcare worker?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
Are you a business owner ready to embark on the next chapter of your business journey? Selling your business is not just a culmination of your hard work, but can also be the key to unlocking your financial freedom. I'd like to introduce my brand new book called The Entrepreneur's Exit Strategy, because this book can reshape your future. Hi, I'm David Hollander, CEO and founder of the Liberty Group and host of Protect Your Assets. Imagine planning a path toward a comfortable and rewarding retirement, leveraging your entrepreneurial success for a brighter future. And right now, I'm giving away my brand new book for free to anyone who calls this number, 866-PROTECT. If you need a structured approach to exiting your business, this book is for you. Business owners, find out what you don't know. 866-PROTECT. That's 866-PROTECT for your free copy.
KSFO traffic from the Chilton Auto Body Desk.
This report is sponsored by Caltrans Clean California.
Would you like your community to be recognized as a beautiful and clean place to live? Help the place you love become a designated Clean California community. Take them at cleanca.com. Zero litter is the goal.
Remnants of an earlier vehicle fire in Newark near the Dunbar Bridge eastbound direction before Newark Boulevard, still partially blocking the right lane there. And better news, a crash cleared mid-span of the Richmond span or Fellbridge westbound. The backup to Richmond Parkway, Bay Bridge jammed through the maze. West 80 to approach heavy from San Pablo Dam Road. That's traffic. I'm Elaine Leung.
This report is sponsored by Pacific Coast Termites. Americans pay about $5 billion to control termites and repair their damage every year. Many people underestimate exactly how much damage they do. Call Pacific Coast Termites today at 800-PACIFIC for a free home inspection. Certain restrictions apply. Sundays at 11, it's a San Francisco conservative. Join David Parker and journalist Tom Martin as they explore ideas to align with the vision our founding fathers had for this great nation. Tune in to learn how to get a free chapter from David's book, A San Francisco Conservative. Join us on this exciting journey towards a brighter future for America. Sundays at 11, here on KSFO.
Service to behind the microphone, taking the bite to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
You know those simple word association games people play? You've probably done it before, right? Word association, someone says, whatever. Red, and someone goes blood, and you're like, oh my gosh, why is that the first thing you thought of, Especially if you say something, what do you mean? Blue, like sky, whatever. Word association games, they work
in politics too, especially when it comes down to political tactics. And folks, there is no one better at doing this. But I jokingly call it the dipsy-do flipperoo. When the media wants you to associate a certain label with Donald Trump, whatever it may be, violent, corrupt, felon, whatever it is, and Donald Trump has a way of taking it, messaging it in the dipsy-do flipperoo, doing a total 180, stealing the media's own term, and then making it about the left. Nobody does it better than him. The best example of this I can think of. It's such a good example, many of you, I promise, will be like, nah, he didn't do that. But I promise you, if you go back and look at the history of the term fake news, you will see what I'm telling you is 100% accurate. The term fake news, which many of you out there, give me a thumbs up or say hello in the Rumble chat there. Many of you probably believe that the fake news is about the media. It was Donald Trump calling out the media for being fake. It is, but that's not how it started. No, come on, no, he's so good at this, you're probably convinced fake news was originally about the media. It's not what it was about. It was the term the media used about Donald Trump. I'm just going to look. When Donald Trump, the first few days of his presidency and the end days of his campaign, and the end days of the campaign and the presidential-elect period, president-elect, you get the point. Donald Trump would say things and the media would be like, well, that's fake news. They've since replaced that with the without evidence line, or now, what they say yesterday, they've got a new one now. They said something like without supporting, like this is what they do. But it initially was an attack on Donald Trump as a way to say what Donald Trump is telling you is not real. Well, Donald Trump turned around and stole that. And at rallies, he would start pointing to the media in the back, sitting there on the platform, and the media cutout. And he would say, look, we got all the fake news back there. And because he has such a microphone and megaphone, that term became tattooed on the media. To the point now where almost nobody actually remembers how that was a term used to attack Donald Trump. He's doing it again. Nobody does it better than this guy. So you guys and ladies, you remember Bloodbath Gate, of course. Donald Trump gave a speech. He was talking about the car market, and he mentioned how it would be a bloodbath if he wasn't elected. Again, you go listen to the speech. We don't need to recover that. That's just the facts. He was talking about the car market. Said, if you don't elect me, basically it's going to be a bloodbath, and went on to talk about the car market because he was talking about the car market. Well, of course, the media wanted that term in a word association, right? Blue sky, red, blood. They wanted the word association here. Bloodbath, violence, Trump. That's what they wanted. They wanted in the American psyche before elections. The media is an agitprop operation. They agitate, provoke, and propagandize people. The media wanted to be sure you associated Donald Trump with violence. So they created this fake story that Donald Trump was calling for electoral violence via his use of the term bloodbath. So Donald Trump could have let it go, like most politicians would have, but not this guy. Donald Trump decided he was going to do a dipsy-do flipperoo like he did with fake news. And ladies and gentlemen, did it again. So he's given remarks today from Michigan, and I want you to pay very close attention to the summary of this in the press release they put out. President Donald J. Trump delivered remarks on Biden's border bloodbath in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's doing it again. He's doing the dipsy-do flipperooski. Remember yesterday we talked about the provocation principle? How one of the best assets you can tactically have in politics is the ability to provoke your political opponents into a reaction you want. So I talked about it yesterday in terms of the Trans Day of Visibility, how that was not an accident. Yes, they knew it would fall on Easter because it was Easter when they put it out, and they sent it out anyway. Because they wanted to provoke a response from you. They wanted to provoke some violent response from you. When I mean violent, I don't necessarily mean physical violence. I mean violent rhetoric. They wanted somebody to threaten someone in the trans community, saying, "Go look at those evil transphobic Republicans. You see, this is why we need the Day of Visibility." You see the reasoning they use? The provocation principle. Provoke your opponent into a response you want so you can use it against them. Very simple provocation principle, very simple to understand. They've never dealt with anyone, however, like Trump. You didn't give them the response they wanted. You responded with ridicule, ridiculing them for celebrating a day of visibility on the most holy day in the Christian calendar, and it worked. I'll get into that later in the show. I can prove to you it worked. Because they freaked out yesterday. Because you didn't give them what they wanted. They provoked you, and you provoked them back. But Donald Trump is doing that now again. He's taking their word. And most Republican politicians in the past, I promise you, would have spoken to a focus group who would have said, put out a press release, you fully condemn violence and this bloodbath thing, walk away from it, please don't use that word again. Take it to the bank, folks, cash that check, spend that money. I'm telling you, one of the benefits having run for office, where you talk to consultants who always get in your head, some of them are good, I know that word consultant kind of has a bit of a negative connotation, but it shouldn't. Some of them are actually pretty smart. But some of them aren't. And the establishment consultant type would, I guarantee you, come out and say, don't ever use that word again. We don't want to get into this with the media over a discussion of blood and violence. It just looks bad on us. Not Trump. Trump turns around. He takes this word. He puts out a press release that now forces the word association game in the other direction. So now the word association game the media tried to play, which was what? Trump, violence, bloodbath. Trump, violence, bloodbath. Donald Trump puts out a press release about, quote, Biden's border bloodbath, which every media operation across the globe has to pick up because it's a press release from a former president who's now the presumptive Republican nominee, who's likely to be the next president. They can't edit the press release. They can't edit the press release or else it's not news. It's opinion, correct? But they've got to announce it. So Trump's team beautifully puts out this piece with Biden's border bloodbath, takes the word association game, flips it on its head, and now you'll see the fake news phenomenon going forward where people like me and others, man, Biden's really causing a bloodbath. Border, that's crazy. Wait, wasn't that about Trump? No. What's about He does it every time, man. Nobody does it better. I want you to remember these things, these little political battle tactics. It's really important. Because even if you're someone who casually listens to the show, maybe you listen 3-4 times a week, you're not a P1, but you're maybe a P2 or a P3. Are those real terms? P1 is. P2 and P3, I think I made that up. I'm not really sure that's a thing, but it's not a thing. But say, no, it is a thing. Okay, good. So say you're like a P3, you listen once or twice a week. Folks, this matters to you too. You may say, I'm not an activist, I may never run for office. You might not, but these human psychology tricks and these kind of rules of power, Robert Greene wrote about them in that book, they matter in your life too. The ability to control other people's behavior by provoking them into a response you want is really, it's almost like a superpower. I mean, can you, outside of Professor X and like Magneto, is there any other, they were the two strongest, right? The X-Men universe, I think. That's a superpower. And the media and the left in the culture wars for years owned us on that. They just did. They had the ability to push the right buttons, get us to respond a certain way, and then they would use that response as evidence that the initial provocation was warranted. I'll give you an example. But what I mean by this, in the pre-Trump era. The media has this narrative about us that it's fake, of course. The Republicans are the party of the rich, which is nonsense. The Republicans are actually the party of the working guy for a number of obvious reasons. Lower taxes, freedom to send your kids to the school you want, and controlling your own health care. Those are middle-class, working-class issues. Rich people don't have to worry about anything. They buy their own school. They can buy their own doctor. They don't really care. Those are working-class issues. But that's besides the point. The narrative they wanted to put out there for years, when they provoked us into responses and we fell in their trap, was that, yes, the Republicans are the party of the rich people. So they would say something like, oh, look at Mitt Romney, this guy's so out of touch. Folks, I'm no Romney fan. I think you all get that, right? They say, look at Mitt Romney. He's got this 51-point, tax plan. Guy's totally out of touch. And they'll respond like walking into a methadone clinic talking about the Laffer curve. only furthers the narrative after you've been provoked with this BS narrative. Furthers the narrative that you're completely out of touch. Donald Trump's the first billionaire guy who amazingly appeals more to the middle class than the guy who's a lot less wealthy than him, Joe Biden, who claims to be the working class Scranton kid. And the reason is he never falls in those traps and allows himself to be controlled by the actions of his political opponent. This is a brilliant press release. It's going to attach that word association now to Joe Biden. It shows he's not afraid to fight back, and anytime you hit him, he's going to do the whole... You ever practice Aikido? You know Aikido, they do those throws and everything like that. The harder you come at someone in Aikido, the harder you hit that mat. So you learn to be very delicate when you're doing Aikido. This is what... He's like the ultimate political Aikido master. The harder you come at him, the harder he winds up throwing you, and your butt's on that mat. You're looking up like, what the hell just happened? They don't know how to control this guy, because they can't. Because he's broken every political rule, and because he's broken these rules and we haven't done it in the past, the left doesn't have a toolkit to respond. All right, I got a lot more coming up, including, ladies and gentlemen, the October surprise is here. Man, it's April. I know it's April. There's always an October surprise with the left in every election. October's before November. Liberals are having a tough time figuring this out. November's the election. They always launch a BS narrative in October to try and hurt the Republican candidate right before the election. However, they're already starting to leak out what it's going to be. I've been hinting at it over a few weeks, but now yesterday the New York Times gave us a big clue about what their October surprise is going to be. Here's a hint. It involves China. It's an even bigger hint. But it used to involve Russia. So you probably put two and two together now because you know I hate Americans.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-6486. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problem. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-6486. That's 800-550-6486. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show on the Bay Area's home for conservative talk on your radio and smart speaker at 560 KSFO.
What do you do if you can't pay your taxes? Turn your tax problems over to us so we can negotiate with the government for you. And in almost all cases, you don't have to deal with the government. Take advantage of all your qualified options, like offering compromise, pay only part of what you owe, either in monthly installments or one payment. Monthly payment plan that works for you and is acceptable to the government. Penalty forgiveness, hardship deferral. The government leaves you alone until you overcome your challenge, such as job or business loss, illness, or other situation. Innocent spouse. If your former spouse causes tax problem, shift it to them where it belongs, or other individual solutions. We discuss your case with you so you'll have a complete understanding of how we plan to help you. We'll work with your current year situation before it becomes a tax problem, because we want to put a final end to all your tax problems. Call Moskowitz LLP at 888-TAX-DEAL. That's 888-TAXDEAL. 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. MOSKOWITZLLP.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally.